Hi everyone, I'm Whitney and I post videos here on my channel to help sewers of all skill levels learn new projects and techniques. This video is part of my sampler sew along. It's a block of the month style series where I'm sharing 12 different traditional quilt blocks so that we can make a sampler style quilt together from start to finish. If you found this video at random and want to know more about the sampler sew along as well as see the blocks that you've missed up to this point, there is a link in the description box for the sampler sew along playlist, and also make sure to hit that red subscription button down below so that you are subscribed and you don't miss out on the upcoming sampler sew along blocks as well. Today's quilt block is called Rail Fence, and it was designed to look like the historic zigzag wooden fences. As a single block, this one does look a little bit strange, but if you decide to make it into an entire quilt, it does look really nice and has a bold zigzag design on the diagonal. If you do decide to go with an entire quilt, you need 3 different fabrics, a dark, a medium, and a light, and you will need 1 strip from each fabric for however many blocks you want to do. So if you want to make a 12 block quilt, you need 12 strips from your dark, 12 from your medium, and 12 from your light. Or you can use a pre-cut jelly roll and just divide it up into darks, mediums, and lights, and you will have different colors for each block, but that is a really cool look as well. So to get started making 1 block for our sampler sew along, you will need 1 2.5 inch by width of fabric strip from 3 different complementary colors. If you decided to use fat quarters for your sampler sew along, just cut 2 strips from each of your 3 colors. Lay the 3 strips out in order from darkest to lightest. Flip the top strip over onto the next one, lining up the long edges. Sew them together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Feel free to add a few sewing clips or pins to hold the long strips together. Open the piece up and lay the 3rd strip on with right sides together. Sew all the way down the long side to attach it as well. Give the entire piece a good press so the seam allowances are going up toward the darker fabrics. Use a ruler and rotary cutter to trim the piece down to 4 squares of 6.5 inches. If you are using fat quarters, you will have 2 units at this point, so cut 2 squares from each. Lay out the squares as shown. Like I mentioned earlier, as a single block, the layout does look a little odd. Now onto sewing the block together. Flip the first square onto the second so they are right sides together and sew to attach. Press the seam allowance toward the vertical strips. Repeat for the second pair, pressing again toward the vertical strips. Then lay the top half and the bottom half right sides together and sew to attach. Press the final seam and the block is complete. It should measure 12.5 by 12.5 inches right now and will be 12 inches when sewn into the finished quilt. Take a picture of your block and make sure to share it with the hashtag sampler sew along, or go ahead and tag me in the picture so that I can see it, because I love seeing what everyone has been making for the sew along. Then go ahead and pick out your fabrics for the next block that is shown here on the screen in gray. As I mentioned earlier, there's a playlist full of all the sampler sew along videos, and that is linked right over here to the side. And until next time, happy sewing.